It's such a pleasure to meet you.
You are so sweet. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you for doing this. It's so generous.
Well, I want you to tell the story right, don't I?
Lots of people, including myself, are loving the story that May December told as Julianne Moore, Natalie Portman, and Charles Melton rack up the nominations throughout award season, including this Sunday's Golden Globes. Today, the BAFTA shortlists were announced, and Charles Melton is trending. As people are offended, he is not in the final 10 being considered for a nomination from the British Academy.
People, they see me as a victim. I wanted it.
But yesterday, the man whom Charles's character was loosely based on told the Hollywood Reporter he's offended by the entire film. Yeah, Vili Fualaau, the now 40-year-old man who was once the 13-year-old child victimized by Mary Kay Letourneau in 1996, is speaking out against the film, telling the Hollywood Reporter, "I'm offended by the entire project and the lack of respect given to me, who lived through a real story and is still living it." Yeah, so he and Mary Kay's relationship, I'm sure you know, was all over the headlines in the 90s. In May December, screenwriter Sammy Birch revealed that their relationship was what inspired her to write the script.
The seed really was this idea of thinking about that couple. I knew that they had kids, and I at a certain point I thought, oh, they're probably adults, these kids. And this image of an empty house, that was kind of the jumping off point of wanting to look at a couple like that, with 20 years difference. So there's just more air and more room and breath.
While Mary Kay has passed away, Vili's disappointed that no one on the filmmaking team reached out to him. "I'm still alive and well. If they had reached out to me, we could have worked together on a masterpiece. Instead, they chose to do a ripoff of my original story." But Julianne Moore and director Todd Haynes have said repeatedly that May December is not the story of Mary Kay and Vili.
This is not a depiction of Mary Kay Letourneau, but you know, there are pieces of inspiration from the story. Did you go back and remind yourself of how things had happened or read interviews from that time?
I did. And I sort of accepted and it as the sort of cultural raw material that we all share, right? But that it was something that could be interpreted as a fiction.
Vili tells THR he still has hopes that his story will be made, saying, "I admire movies that capture the essence and complications of real life events. You know, movies that allow you to see or realize something new every time you watch them. Those kind of writers and directors, someone who can do that, would be perfect to work with, because my story is not nearly as simple as this movie portrays." But yeah, May December is not your story. I think anyone watching that movie knows that this is a work of fiction. I don't think anyone is thinking, oh, this is a biopic. Like the screenwriter says, it was just a jumping off point. There's pirates in the Caribbean. Yeah, that's a jumping off point for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Why can't we talk about it?
If Charles or anyone had met with Vili, it would have given the impression that they were telling his story. I think it would have been even worse to meet with him, because then he would have seen the movie and go, what the heck? See, I don't think Vili should feel violated or feel offended. Once Julianne and Natalie and Charles have that script, they're worried about the characters of Gracie, Elizabeth, and Joe. Maybe Vili's story isn't worth telling. I don't know what his story was, over the last, 30, 25 years. It might still be worth a movie, but May December is not his movie. Yeah, what are your thoughts?